Hello there. Welcome to this Meet the Candidate interview. I am excited to have Josh Miller with Rainbow Restoration with me. As always, we encourage you to watch all of the Meet the Candidate interviews to get to know each of the candidates and what they bring to the table. Our goal is for each of them to be 10 minutes or less. There are 3 candidates total for this year's election for one open board seat on the RIA Board of Directors. Ballots will be mailed directly to RIA members on March 16th. Voting is only open to RIA members, and you need to be an active member to vote. Election results will be announced during the RIA Convention, April 27th through 29th in Savannah. If you are not registered yet, do so immediately. It's going to sell out, so get registered. Restorationindustry.org. All right, here we go. So, Josh, first question. Why do you want to serve on the RIA Board of Directors again?
Yeah, I'd say again, you've said that kind of the key word there, Michelle, is some of my friends in the industry have joked, like, am I crazy to do it again? But served on the board for 3.5 years before. And then in early 2020, the board the RIA took a necessary direction of we shrunk the board. And I say we, but the RIA shrunk the board from 18 members to 12 members. And at the time, we had 3 Rainbow representatives on the board. So between the position I held at Rainbow as our vice president of technical training, and we had a phenomenal owner representative, Jay Van Duzen out of Bel Air, Maryland. I just said, hey, let Jay continue on the board. He's an owner and active operator in the network and the ecosystem, excuse me. Knowing that, like, I still had a desire and an energy to serve on the board, but it was necessary to get a lot of other people involved, which we've done that through Katie Smith and Mark Springer. We've got so many more people involved now. So really, it's 2 things. Number one, I have unfinished business. Like, I still have a passion for the RIA and for the industry. Number 2, RIA is at a critical point. We're building so much phenomenal momentum, and it's I want to just continue to add to that, get back on the board, and push the association and really the industry through a couple of strong initiatives over the next 3, 4, 5 years on the board, and help to make the industry stronger as a whole for the future generations that are going to come after us.
All right. Question number 2 is a 2-parter. So, part 1, what do you think is keeping restorers up at night?
Yeah, what's keeping people up at night is payment cycles. We see, like, state of the industry reports, things like that. Even being the president of Rainbow Restoration and all of our owners here in North America, even in the UK and Germany where we have owners, payment cycles are number 1. Like, getting people paid more promptly, and what does that look like? Number 2 would be understanding what does it look like to operate within the ecosystem in a collaborative way. One of the things I think keeps people up at night is that they feel that it's and many times it is, but there's a very adversarial relationship between adjusters and insurance companies or TPAs. And so I know we're going to get to that in a second here, but it keeps people up at night. Like, why does our industry have to be so adversarial? I don't know that it does. And then another one, and just talking with a couple of Rainbow owners in meetings this morning, is what does it look like to find help? That seems to be one of the really, really big things. Is how do we find long-term help that wants to be in the industry? And I know that this has been something that's on the mind of the RIA, even the IICRC, of like, what does a career path look like? So, number of things keeping restorers up at night. I think those would probably be the top 3. Is what does it look like to interact with people? How do we get paid? And then who's going to do the work as we grow our companies?
Okay, so you're prepped for part 2 already. So, what would you like to see the RIA doing to help alleviate these pain points?
Yeah, so the first thing the RIA is already doing it, and I think we need to push that ball over the goal line, is to get a federal ID number or federal labor code for what we do. That's like a big challenge for how do we start tracking what it is for how people get paid. We talk about wanting to get people into this as a career. How do we show them that there's a path forward where they can make a decent wage and that they can actually have a career? Even on Facebook and stuff, this morning, Jeff Moore, our current president, was talking about people refer to the HVAC industry or the electricians or the plumbers. Until we get a labor code, that's number 1, we're never going to be able to have the same type of structure around that. So that's one of the things I think the RIA needs to do. The other thing they're doing a phenomenal job of is the advocacy. So when we think about the RIA's mission statement to advocate, elevate, and educate, the advocacy is a huge thing. Number of wins already legally. I think the RIA needs to continue on that with that on that front. And then the third thing is to just really help to establish not only a career path, but why are IICRC and RIA education or certification so important to the industry? I think we've lost a little bit of that I know the RIA Education Committee, I'm serving back on that again after being taking a couple of years off. We're really focusing on what are the gaps educationally in the industry. If everything's important, nothing's important, so I'll stick with just those three. Let's get those three across the finish line, and there's more that's sure to come up, and I'm sure that all of our members have great ideas that I would love to, if I have the privilege to serve on the board again, I would love to listen to those. But let's focus on those three right now, get 3 more wins under our belt, and then we can re-rack the cue card and come at it again.
All right, very good. All right, question number 3. What do you love most about the restoration industry?
Yeah, the thing I love the most is really number one is we get to help our communities. And so when I started in this industry, which is crazy to say, you and I've been talking a little bit before we started this interview. When I started in the industry 30 years ago, so yes, I'm going to turn 50 years old here in 2 days, never really understood what the industry was. I was kind of like, hey, this is a job for a couple of years and it's led to a phenomenal career, but we get to help our community. So nobody ever wants to call or even knows they need to call a restoration company until they actually need a restoration company. So one is to give back to the community. 2, that I love about it is that we get to help people in their time of need. It's easy to put together buildings and houses compared to helping reestablish people's emotional trust that their home or business is going to be okay. The other thing that I love about the industry is things like the RIA. I've developed a number of really close friendships in life. You and I are friends both from Michigan, Jeff Jones at the Oland, but the industry as a whole has a very big heart to help out not only the community, but to help out other RIA members or other people in the industry. And that's one of the things I love about it is that you can go months or a year or 2 and not see someone and you just pick back up like you never have been apart. But the other part too is even like being part of a franchise network here at Rainbow. When somebody hears that another business owner needs help or is struggling or could use some input, what a phenomenal, generous community we have in restoration. So that's what I love about RIA and the restoration industry as a whole is that there's just a lot of big-hearted people. And the last thing I'll wrap up with on what I love about it is I don't know any other industry that you can like have the entrepreneurial spirit, and the barrier to entry is much more reasonable than some of the other industries that you would want to join today. So it's something you can get into. You can build a great company for your community and your family, and you meet some really cool people along the way.
You do. All right, last question. It's just open mic. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I appreciate people taking the time. I think we're going to wrap up here in under 10 minutes. As I told you, we both said we're going to get this done in 8 to 10 minutes. Appreciate people listening and taking the time. It's an honor just to even be considered by the board as one of the candidates. The one thing I would say is that if you're an RIA member, continue to volunteer, continue to show up at not only the RIA convention, but also all of the networking events around the country. It's so cool to see these events take off. And those events really have taken off because of the passion of the restoration industry of people that even aren't members from Facebook groups or providing suggestions to the RIA. So continue to provide those suggestions. And if you're not an RIA member, please join as soon as you can for $25 a month to get started. And then I would love to see any and all people in Savannah, Georgia, and buy people a drink and hang out and hear what's on their mind.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Josh. And thank you to everybody who is watching the Meet the Candidate interviews. Again, we welcome you to watch all of them. You can find them on the CNR YouTube page on the Meet the Candidates playlist. You can also find them on our website, and RIA will also, of course, be sharing them across their channels. Get registered for a convention at restorationindustry.org. And good luck to everybody. Thank you, Josh.
Have a great day, Michelle.